What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys because we got Madolche to go over. Yes, I have done an update to my Madolche deck profile, and I am very excited about Madolche. Right on the noise background because Madolche is an amazing archetype. When you hear about Madolche, you hear about all of the crazy shenanigans Madolche can pull off. Massive special summons, tons and tons of resources that Madolche can have access to, both in the main and the extra. And really, it just depends on how you want to build it. Now, one of the things that did come out in the OCG is this little card here. This is the Pot of Disparity. And it's a really good spell card for an archetype in a deck like this. So I'll be going over this card's inclusion shortly, but we need to go through the deck itself. So starting off, we are running 3 copies of Madolche Pudding Cesar, 3 copies of Madolche Angeli, 2 copies each of Madolche Magellan, Madolche Messenger Lato, and Madolche Huke. 2 copies of Mifilo, 1 copy each of Mifilo, and 1 copy of Madolche Pudding Cess. And then following that are 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, and 3 copies of Effect Veiler. For the spells, 2 copies of Madolche Chateau, 2 copies of Madolche Salon, 2 copies of Madolche Ticket, 3 copies of Pot of Disparity, 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 1 copy of Call by the Grave, 1 Harpie's Feather Duster, and 1 Regeki. For the extra deck, for the trap cards. Sorry, we have 3 copies of Infinity Impermanence and 3 copies of Madolche Parmamed. Then, for the extra deck, 2 copies of Madolche Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Mode, 3 copies of Madolche Queen Tiara Masu, 2 copies of Madolche Teacher Glass Souffle, 2 copies of Madolche Fresh Tart, 1 copy each of IP Masquerena, Crystal and Alchemy Fabrics, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, 1 copy of Celine, the Queen of Master Magician, 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 copy of Access Code Talker. So that literally rounds out the main and the extra deck. So let's go over it. I'm actually going to start off with our extra deck because I get to talk about this card. So Pot of Disparity is one of the newer pot cards in the game right now. Its ability is that you can banish 3 or 6 cards from your extra deck face down. Then you activate the top number of cards from your deck equal to those cards. Then you can add one of them from that selected amount of cards to your hand. The others go to the bottom of your deck in any order. But for the rest of the turn after it resolves, your opponent takes half damage, and you can't draw any cards out with card effects. So that may seem like a big hefty cost. You can't draw and you're doing half damage, but you're able to search out cards that you probably are either in the dire need to go get, don't have the search for it, and Madolche is one of the many decks in the game that don't have a draw card or don't have much in terms of draw power. So finding extended searches is really great. This would work out pretty well. It really does. It's actually because Madolche has one of those extra decks where you can pull multiple cards from it, and it's not going to hurt it at all. It's going to really help benefit it because at that point, once those cards are out of the way in the extra deck, you're really just mainly just figuring out what you're going to do with your main deck in the cards that you need, so you can either extend your combos, start your combos, or get rid of stuff that's stopping your combos. And that's what Disparity is here for. That's probably why you guys see the surplus of Madolche extra deck monsters, is because you can easily take out 1 or 2 of each of them, and then bam, that's at least 4 or 5. That's at least what the amount of cards you needed for it. And it's not going to hurt you at the end because at that point, you'll probably know which cards you're going to need. You can push your aspects of game from there. And really at that point, there isn't much, of a downside to it in this type of deck because that's exactly where it goes is that one, like, it's kind of similar to Pot of Extravagance. You really don't care too much about the extra deck for Madolche because you run so many copies, and once you start dropping a lot of these monsters onto the board, because with a lot of the Madolche setup, you're just gonna spam through. You're just gonna run right through your opponent's field and board, and then win yourself that game at that point. So, the two copies of Chocolate a la Mode. Well, the two copies each of Mode, the two copies each of Souffle, and the two copies each of Sistart. Sistart and Souffle are your very defensive aspects, while Sistart protects your military spells and traps from being destroyed by card effects and having your opponent target them. Um, she can easily save herself by returning military monsters back from the graveyard to the deck to save herself. Sistar can, that teacher can protect the Madolche card on the field from being affected by other monster effects except for its own. And then, while there's Madolche card being sucked from your grave to your graveyard, you can shuffle back two cards in the grave back into the deck, so you can disrupt plays there. Then we have the queen herself, Tiara Misu. She's just a massive bounce. And then that's pretty much about it, because Chocolate a la Mode is just, if she has, pudding sets attached to her, she can knock into monsters and then give you a special summon of a monster. Um, then in addition to that, no, I'm sorry, I read her wrong. I should know what she does. If Madolche cards are returned from your graveyard and shuffled back into your main deck, you're able to detach material from yourself to set summon a Madolche monster from your deck and face up, attack position or face down defense. She can put herself on top of any rank 3 or lower Madolche Exceed monster, which is not too hard, as you can see with the other two options. And that, you know, a lot of stuff that she can do, but you do have to have putting Seth under her, which is not going to be hard once I start talking about the main deck. As far as the other monsters in the extra deck go, everybody is here for the link climb to get into Access Code Talker. If you don't have access to Access Code Talker, there is of course Barrel Sword, Barrel Load, Unchained Behemoth, all of those other really good rank 4s. Halky Fibrex and IP Masquerade help you do that link climb to get into your rank 3s. You have Phoenix to help you get rid of back row, Celine to get either Magellan or Effect Veiler, and then she can go into Access Code Talker, or you can use Unicorn for the balance. So you have your things there. Now let's talk about this main deck. So I'm running the 3 copies of Angeli and 3 copies of Madolche Pudding Cesar, because those are pretty much your go-to girls for starting up a lot of things. Madolche Pudding Cesar can special summon herself while you had no monsters in your grave. She's able to special summon a Madolche monster from your deck to the field. She'll reduce the level of that monster by 1, and then for the rest of the time, you're only special summoning Madolche monsters. But remember, that's okay, because the extra deck will have plenty of them. You're primarily going to want to get putting Seth so that you can reduce her level from 5 to 4 and then exceed. Then on top of that, you have other combo cards like Madolche Hoot Cake. You can have Angeli herself, which Angeli contribute herself to set some Madolche monster from your deck. And then that helps get Hoot Cake onto the field, because then Hoot Cake can trigger to banish a monster from your graveyard to set summon a Mother Madolche. One of the biggest targets you want to get is your Messenger Gelato. For Gelato can search for yourselves in traps when it's special summon, as long as you control a beast type Madolche monster. Now, if that's not an option, the other option is Mewphilo, who can special summon a Madolche monster from your hand to the field. Madolche Mewphilo is probably one of the 2 of the only cards I'm running a 1 of. I did want to see if I wanted to bump it up to maybe a 2. I'd have to cross out an Angeli to do such. But I felt Angeli was probably more, and this is probably just one of those situationals. If not, you can always drop it to throw in another copy of Magellan, who Magellan can, when she's normal or flipped, she can search for a Madolche monster and add it to the hand. These 2 correspond really well with the card Madolche Salon, which grants you the ability of additional normal summon of a Madolche monster, in addition to your normal summoner set. So, let's say for instance you do normal summon Madeline, but you have Messengelato in your hand, she can search for Mufilo. You can trigger Salon to summon Mufilo, and then Mufilo can help you summon Messengelato. See there? So you got your combo set up. You got your lot of your combo game going. Now, though she doesn't seem like too much of the prominent monster, Madolche Pudding Cess is one of those cards that has a lot of good abilities attached to it. When she attacks an opponent's monster, at a damage calculation, whether she wins or loses, she can target a card on the field and destroy it. In addition to that, if you have no cards in your grave, she gains 500. She gains 800 attack and defense. And because how Madolches work, there are going to be a lot of clearing out of monsters in the graveyard that are not necessary. And if you are worried about your ashes and effect veilers, don't worry. That's where Food King comes into play to banish them out, so that he can get other Madolche monsters. Now, these are your hand traps. You don't have to run them. I'm running them, but there are some options. While Ash can stop cards from being sent from the deck to the graveyard or added to your hand, or special summoning them from the deck, you have Veiler who stops monster effects. And in that same case, you also have Infinity Impermanence in case you don't get to your effect Veiler, and it's kind of like turn 1. But if you have all 3, bam, you have Simpson Negate. Just hope that you have something strong enough to help you with a rebuttal. Moving on into the spells, excluding Pot of Disparity, Chateau gives the 500 additional attack, and then it gives the addition, and then has the Pot of Avarice for the Madolche monsters. You have Madolche Ticket, which allows you to add a Madolche monster from your deck to your hand. When a Madolche monster or Madolche cards are returned from your field or graveyard back into your hand. If you control a fairy type Madolche monster, you can special summon the target that you searched for from to your hand. That's going to be in your hand to the field. So that does fluctuate a lot of things there. It makes it a lot easier. Like I said, combo game. Picking a combo game, you got Madolche Salon giving you your additional normal summon of that Madolche monster. But if you notice, if another Madolche card you control is returned from the graveyard to your hand or shuffled into your main deck, you're able to set a Madolche spell or trap directly from your deck to the field. So you can go get Madolche Ticket, you can set Chateau, or you can even set Parmenade. Then in addition to that, you have more Negate, thanks to cards like Call by Grave, Forbidden Droplet, and you have removal thanks to Duster and Regeki. Now, for the trap cards in the last part of the video, we do have Madolche Parmenade. So Parmenade is a really amazing card. You can target a face-up card your opponent controls, a Madolche monster you control, or in your graveyard. You can return the target back to your hand, and then negate your opponent's card till the end of the turn. Then in addition to that, you can banish this card from your graveyard, and then have the ability to attach a Madolche monster to a Madolche Exceed monster you control from your hand, your deck, or your graveyard. So, this speeds up the process of getting Madolche Pudding Cess. This gives Tiramisu, Glass Souffle some additional material for their effects, and literally have a negate in a normal trap. So, I praise this card. I praise Salon when both of those cards got announced. I still praise these cards as being really, really good, and there's so much benefits to them that it is crazy not to run them. My overall thing before I do end the video is that I'm very happy and excited to be dipping my hand back into Madolche, and I honestly think this is still another deck that a lot of people will enjoy no matter where you stand in the game. So, I will wrap up the video here. I wanted to say thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you guys be informed of when I do upload more content. Also, the social media links are in the description box below, so you guys can interact with me there. And also, just as a standing ovation, I do want to thank you guys so much for your support, and I will hopefully catch you guys next time. So, till then, everyone, HPJ signing out. Take care.